All right, let's take a look at it though. Let's see what's winning over in Japan. I think I'm only gonna take a look at the winning list here though. Oh, put on this. Here's the future hands build. The one thing when I looked at this deck, and the fact that it only played counter catcher. After we looked at it after Champions League, the one question I had, the one thing I said about it is I don't think this deck can exist consistently only playing counter catcher. Like once your opponent knows you only play counter catcher, then I think things have to change. And we see like this build already has adjusted from the build that did well at Champions League. They are playing prime catcher over the future ace spec that accelerates energy. And they have boss's orders in here as well, so they have more gust effects. Another weakness of this deck in general as well is I feel like heavy baton is like super essential to actually function. Like I don't think this deck functions if your opponent can vacuum like your first heavy baton. I think if your opponent can vacuum your first heavy baton and takes away your ability to chain your iron hands, I think you just lose. So I think heavy baton is like, I think this deck is like super fragile, basically. Like if decks just start adding vacuums to deal with your heavy baton, I think the deck just like folds. You just crumble. I think Dialga would be a good deck with the new Matang. It'll be better than it has been. I don't know if it's gonna be good though. I think the baton is essential for sure. Does it not stay like that? Oh, because I clicked on the card, it takes me out of that. Yeah, not just counter catchers anymore. It's got some boss in there. Has the prime catcher. Doesn't have the energy acceleration card. What did you guys say it was called? Reboot pod. Yeah, the reboot pod seems pretty good, but if your batons trigger every time, then it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Like if your batons just work, it doesn't really matter. I feel like that becomes the question: is are people going to play vacuums for your batons? You appreciate the 2 months up there. DM Gab, welcome to the Rat Pack. We're all out of water, but we got plenty of lakes. This is literally ADP, kind of, yeah. I think you said it on your pod. Now it is out there. People will work around its strategy with energy retention. Yeah, something like yes. There's a lot of ways to play around this deck, I think, for sure. Another one got dub here as well. Same thing, has the prime catcher over the pod. Still super reliant on the heavy batons. I mean, you have the generators, of course, but like I feel like you're super reliant on the heavy batons. There's a psychic energy in this one for the crown. And then it actually has an iron bundle in here as well. The iron bundle actually seems kind of good. Oh, but I guess you don't have a ton of access to the iron bundle because you just play the, I didn't even realize that. You just play the techno radars to find your Pokemon. You don't even play, like this deck plays 2 Nest Ball. What does this list even play? This list also plays 2 Nest Ball. The bundle could be cool though. I don't dislike the bundle. This one has 4 crown as well. So with 4 crown, you can hit like 260 with the capsule. And then you can actually like 1-hit KO Golden Goes or something like that. So like playing the 4th crown would be like a tech for the Golden Go matchup, I guess. I feel like one of Raichu would fit well if you need to nuke endgame. I think getting the 2 energy on the Raichu would maybe be the problem. But I guess you could just heavy baton, right? Honestly, I don't hate that idea, to be honest, Gengar guy. I actually don't hate that idea. Because then you could just KO the active instead of having to like gust around it or something like that. Radar for bundle is free. Oh yeah, wait, you can radar for the bundle. I didn't even realize that. Yeah, you can literally just radar for the bundle. Oh wait, that's actually kind of broken. Or just hit a generator. Well, I would assume like late game you're getting Iono, so it's gonna be tough to find the generator. But you do have the gift energy in here as well. You do have gift energy. Yeah, I don't know. To be honest, it's a pretty cool build. The deck's really, really cool. Like I said, I think it's pretty fragile. I think it's super reliant on heavy baton. You only play 2, but you play a ton of outs to it. I think the deck is pretty fragile. Like I think if it becomes like recognized as like a very high level threat in the meta, like you can just play vacuums in your deck and you get rid of the heavy baton and then all done. Let's see if there's any changes to the Lugia. This is like pretty much the exact 60 that won Champions League. No real adjustments here. It looks like 1 less collapsed stadium, or I don't know what was even. Can't even tell what the change was. 1 less collapsed for 1 more something in here. I don't even know what it is. There's 3 boss. No, yeah, I don't even know what the change was. 2 lacks. There was 2 lacks in the winning list, I believe. Yeah, I think there was 2 lacks in the winning list. Serena. No, they had the Serenas in there as well. What was it? 3 Serena? No, 2 Serena, 2 research. Nah, just 1. Oh, was it really? Why do I think it was 2? Dude, I swear it was 2. Hang on, I'm gonna go check now. I swear they played 2. Yeah, they played 2 Snorlax. Yeah, I was right. Get out of here. Making me... I'm getting gaslit over here. Control's been doing very well. This list has Crushing Hammers. What matchup would you possibly need the Crushing Hammers for, though? Why would you also play 3 of them? Like, I feel like if it's like a card where you need it, if you feel like you need Crushing Hammer to win a matchup, I feel like you would play 4. It's like, all right, first it has Crushing Hammers, and then there's just like 3 of them. Now, you can find them with Arven. But what is the matchup where you want Crushing Hammers? That's what I'm curious about. What is the matchup where you're like, yo, Crushing Hammers, that solves it? Like, I just need to get like 1 or 2 heads out of these 3 Crushing Hammers. I have no clue what matchup that would actually be. Zard? Maybe that seems bad. No, Zard's already a good matchup. You want to play that for Zard. Arceus probably. Is it? Are you playing those 3 Crushing Hammers for the Arceus matchup? What, to like stop them from attacking turn 2? But don't you just like not care? You just not care if they attack turn 2? He's like, let them attack turn 2. Who cares? You have a Snorlax up there with a Bravery Charm. You're not dying. Or put a Mimikyu up there. Hands deck we just looked up at. I don't think that makes a big difference in that matchup either, though. I don't think any of that matters in those matchups. I think his deck just probably gets destroyed by the hands deck as well. Maybe not. Oh, maybe not though. Actually, no, he's Trap a Crown, right? Yeah, never mind. He's Trap a Crown. And then of course it has the Mantine in here. Put a basic Pokemon from either player's discard pile onto on that player's bench. Yeah, I'm curious about the Crushing Hammers in there. Like, why are there crushing? Like, what matchup are they there for? I feel like there's not a good answer. I could be wrong though. So this is the Bib Pidge Zard. This one actually has a 1/1 Bib with a 2/2 Pidge. I actually don't know what we saw both. No, I think the ones we saw at the Champions League had a 2/2 B-Barrel and a 1/1 Pidgeot in them. This one, flipping it a little bit, plays the whole squad for draw power. 2/2 Pidgeot with the 1/1 B-Barrel. Honestly, I don't hate it. You have so much bench space to work with. Like, the extra draw power might just be worth the inclusion, to be honest. I guess one thing about the B-Barrel, though, it's like more likely to get stuck in the active than like anything else in your deck. Like, your Charizards can attack. Charmanders have 1 retreat cost. Pidgey has 1 retreat cost. But the B-Barrel does have 2 retreat costs, which seems a little bit annoying. The Flutter. Yeah, we've seen this in quite a few of the Charizard decks, actually. Is the Flutter main. For the Flutter of the Night. Fluttering of the Night ability. As long as this Pokemon is in your active spot, your opponent's active Pokemon has no abilities except for Fluttering of the Night. So this is like to shut down Lost Zone decks. Yeah, it's like to shut down Lost Zone decks. And you can start attacking with it too. Just like strike and throw. 90 and 20. C-Pow. I don't know. Is this that good against Chien-Pao? I guess it's okay. Yeah, I guess you stop Chien-Pao from searching out energy. You take away Shivery Chill. All right, I don't hate it. Also, you can't find this card with you can't find it with Buddy Puffin either, though. So getting into the active turn 1 can be tough. But this list plays what? 3 Nest Ball, 4 Ultra. I mean, you have a decent amount of outs. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about the Flutter main in there, to be honest. And yeah, no Jirachi. Who mentioned that? Someone said no Jirachi. I feel like if you're playing the Flutter main, you're slowing down the Lost Zone deck enough where you probably don't need Jirachi. Yeah, I feel like you're slowing down the Lost Zone decks enough where you just don't need Jirachi, because it's gonna take them so long to get to Sableye. Like, it seems decent. You also have Turwin here, I guess. I mean, you have Turwin here, which is a way to get rid of the B-Barrel. So, and I guess this list has Prime Catcher as well, so you have like 2 ways to move your B-Barrel, which is probably fine. Start Arceus, B-Barrel builds, TM Evo as well. TM Evo, 3 Nest Ball, 4 Ultra. The biggest thing with this build now is like finding turn 1 Arceus. But I mean, you still have 4 Ultra, 3 Nest, but you don't have the VIP passes anymore to get there. I think Arceus Zard is still probably just bad, and you should just be playing Zard. Zard something. You just don't need Arceus. I think Arceus is just bad. Like, Arceus is just like, yeah, just not good. Lost Zone deck. It's like the whole squad. Hands, Moon. That seems to be the way that most of the Lost Zone decks are going, to be honest. Over in Japan is their Hands, Moon, and that it's just like literally just the whole squad. Hands, Moon, Sableye, Cram, And then this one has the Hoopa EX in here. This attack does 50 damage for each energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. What is this good against? Is this for the future hands matchup? And then I mean you're not doing Bandit's Fist like Miraidon and Arc. Miraidon's not really a deck, I don't think. Lugia. I mean, this is not that good against Lugia. Arctina. It would be pretty good against Arctina. So it's good against Arceus decks, I guess. And yeah, Arceus decks and hands, I guess. Is Klefki better than Flutter? Probably not if your goal is to just shut down Comfeys, which I think is the goal for the Charizard deck, is just to shut down Comfeys. So you'd rather just use Flutter because you can attack with Flutter. You can leave Flutter in your active and attack with it over and over again. And that can just like shut down your opponent completely. Yeah, so Hoopa's good against Arceus, Iron Hands. I mean, I guess you can just hit hard if they have a lot of energy in play as well. We've seen Prime Catcher. I didn't really like think about this too much. I just like have not been thinking about Lost Box like at all. But Prime Catcher is really, really good in Lost Box. Like Prime Catcher is insanely good in Lost Box for sure. Also, you got the emergency boards now, which is also going to be really good as well. Yeah, Prime Catcher is really, really good in Lost Box, but I still feel like Lost Box is still super mid. Like all builds of Lost Box, I feel like are just super, super mid. Here's an Arctina. You got the Virizion, the maximum belt for the Charizard matchup. Got an Eerie in here. I think almost every Arctina build we've seen has an Eerie in the deck. Look at your opponent's hand, discard 2 item cards you find there. I mean, it's a pretty good card if you can fit it. Also, because like you're less reliant on draw supporters turn to turn with the B barrel, the Eerie kind of makes a little bit more sense. And they have the Gardenia's Vigor in here, which is I guess you got to do something with the lack of Raihan now, or Melanie. I mean, Melanie doesn't work if you're playing Arctina, but I guess the lack of Raihan to make up for the lack of Raihan. You got the Gardenia's Vigor now. I'm not sure it's worth playing, to be honest, but it's all right. What else do they got in here? Super Rod, Jet. A lot of grass because of the Virizion. Only a couple Psychics. And 14 energy. Jet. They are playing the Choice Belt. I guess you want that for the Lugia matchup, so you can get around V-Guard with the Choice Belt. No Radiant Pokemon in here, but I feel like Radiant Gardevoir is probably pretty good. If Arctina is like a good deck again, I feel like you'd want to play the Radiant Gardevoir, right? Because then your opponent can't KO your Tinas. And then everyone will just have to add Choice Belt as well as having the Radiant Gardevoir in there. But it depends how popular Arctina is, to be honest. And Lost Tina, I guess, as well, because the same thing, Lost Impact. Wait, was that always better than... Oh, I guess you didn't play it before because of Path, right? I was like, wait, why didn't Arceus decks play Radiant Gardevoir before? Because of Path. But now Path is gone, it makes sense to play it, right? Why do you think Lost Box is mid after rotation? Is this just not as good as other decks? It's just the other decks are better. Other decks are just better. I think it's mid right now. I also, like, to be clear, I also think Lost Box is mid right now as well. So straight Pidgeysard. They got the Jirachi. Boffins. They have Heavy Ball in here. I've always really liked Heavy Ball in Charizard, but it just feels hard to warrant it. Like, it's hard to include. It's hard to include. I actually really like Heavy Ball in Charizard, but it is, it feels like it's hard to include it over, like, other options. For sure. They've gone with the Defiance Band as their extra tool, their damage modifier tool. Maximum Belt for Charizard Mirror, Xian Pao. And then they do have the Mist Energy in here. I really like the idea of the Mist Energy, but Mist Energy maybe feels like it maybe feels like just literally like Heavy Ball, where it's like it's good. The idea of it's really good, but it might not be worth the space, to be honest. But I guess it's more of a tech card than anything, and it probably comes down to just how popular Lost Tina and TM Devo are. It probably matters more so about TM Devo than Lost Tina, to be honest, because Lost Tina does not seem that good. Overall, Lost Tina does not seem that good overall. Another Future Hands, same as the other builds, right? Nothing too crazy. This build doesn't have any boss in it, which I think is, well, I guess if you have the Prime Catcher, maybe you can go with 0 boss if you at least play the Prime Catcher. It's possible. I have to like actually play with this deck so I can understand how it price trades into decks, and how you're actually planning to play it. So having played 0 games with the deck, I don't know if you play the Prime Catcher, do you need boss? I'm not sure. I feel like you need at least boss or prime catcher. And then also, like, if you don't play the pod, if you don't play the reboot pod, that's when all of a sudden, like, vacuum getting rid of your heavy baton feels like you maybe just lose the game if you don't, like, find a bunch of generators. But you, like, don't have Peony in the deck or anything to, like, find... Oh, Peony rotated, so you can't play it, but you don't have ways to, like, find a ton of generators or anything like that anyways. All right, we got a bunch of Zard decks here to look at real fast. This one has double Rotom. I feel like Heavy Ball's better than the second Rotom. Also, no Luminion. I don't like that in this build. Palpad as well. 3 counter catcher? Bro, 3? That's a lot of counter catchering. I don't think Zard's that behind for that long in games. 3 counter catcher, I don't like that. That's a lot of potential gust in this deck. 3 counter catcher, Palpad. I don't like this list. I don't like that list. This list. This one's got the cape. I actually kind of like 3 Poffins. Yeah, 3 Poffins is a little bit... I think you should do 4 Poffin before the Nest Balls, to be honest. I think Roxanne is interesting. Roxanne on top of the 4 Ionos is not weird. It's interesting there. I actually don't hate it. I could see that being like... I could see the Roxanne honestly being better than the Research overall. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of the Roxanne, to be honest. And then there's the Hero's Cape. Pokemon's card statue has a plus 100 HP. So the Hero's Cape is actually pretty good in Charizard, I think. It's good against Lugia. It's good against Tina decks. That like Arctina. It's good against anything that tries to... It's good against Virizion. Virizion actually can't one-hit KO a Charizard with a Hero's Cape. The problem with Hero's Cape, though, is it's not good in Mirror Match. Because Charizard is like the only deck that plays Vacuum right now, it seems like. So they'll just vacuum away your Hero's Cape. And then you have no card for the Mirror Match. And then it even almost gives them more control over the prize trade in the mirror. Because they could like punch your Charizard twice and then just leave it there. And then vacuum your cape later. I guess you could vacuum your own cape at that point, but that doesn't sound very good either. So then it's like if your opponent, if you're going up against a Charizard that has Prime Catcher or Maximum Belt, you're just at a massive disadvantage, it feels like. So if Charizard's really popular, Hero's Cape seems like it's bad to play in Charizard. But if Charizard is just kind of like another deck in the meta and less of like kind of the dominant, or not the dominant, Charizard hasn't been dominant recently, but if it's not like the super popular deck that it's been, like Charizard's been ridiculously popular for whatever reason recently, but if it isn't that kind of popular, then I could see playing the Hero's Cape. If it's like an 8 to 10% deck in the meta, then I could see Hero's Cape being the better tool, to be honest. Because like it doesn't seem like anything else plays Vacuum right now. So if no deck plays Vacuum, then you get guaranteed value out of your Hero's Cape, just like swing matchups in your favor, which is like pretty good. But if Charizard is like 15-20% of the meta, then you probably want to play the Maximum Belt for the Mirror Match. Because you know the Hero's Cape is going to get no value in the mirror, so... Because if you look at any of the... I don't think we've seen a single Vacuum in any of these decks besides the... Oh, well, no, that's not true. The Arctina has a Vacuum, but Arctina can't find the Vacuum when it wants it, right? They're going to use Starbirth early game, and they're not going to be able to just have the Vacuum when they want it, but... so Arctina's got the Vacuum. The Charizard decks, they all play the Vacuum, but like the Lugia deck doesn't play Vacuum. The Hands deck doesn't play Vacuum. Although I don't know if you care about it in the Hands matchup, to be honest. This Lost Tina list has the Vacuum as well. Maybe it's a little bit more popular than I'm giving it credit. Like I was saying with the Lost Box deck as well, like Prime Catcher is an insanely powerful card. Not just in the Lost Box deck, but also in Lost Tina. And now and because you have the Virizion as well, you don't even really have to like consider playing the... I don't think you'd ever play the Maximum Belt, to be honest. I think you always play the Prime Catcher. The Prime Catcher is just disgustingly good in here. Appreciate the Prime sub there, Fuzzy. Welcome to the Rat Pack. We're out of cake, but we got plenty of mustard. Yeah, I think the Prime Catcher... I don't like the lack of the second Roxanne here, but... And then like it seems like the stadium of choice for Tina at this point is the Temple of Sinnoh, just to help the Lugia matchup, which is a good card against the Lugia matchup. But I'm not sure. Another thing I didn't like about this list. Oh no, I didn't like about this. The one thing that's going to be interesting is to try and figure out what is the correct count of emergency board. I think I've only seen one of the emergency board. I kind of like the idea of 2 emergency board in Lost Zone decks in general, because like finding it and getting it established is so powerful. Like it makes your board state so much better. And then also if you run into a deck that plays Vacuum, you could have a second board after they vacuum your first board. But like no decks are going to be playing 2 vacuums, so like you have the second board for after they vacuum. But that'll be something to like figure out, I guess, in Tina as well. I guess probably because of a jet energy, you probably one board is correct in Tina. You see, this list only has the 3 jet alongside the board, but yeah, that'll be something to figure out. I mean, you always probably play at least 1 board. I can't imagine you playing 0 board in Tina. Even though you have the jet energy, you're still probably playing some count of emergency board. Because you can even combo where like you go flower selecting, retreat, flower selecting, and then you jet up the Tina, attack with the Tina after that. Yep, Lost Box, Moon, Hands. This one has the Raikou in it. 4 Sealstone, Prime Catcher, 2 Roxanne. And the Iron Bundle. I think everyone has Iron Bundle. But I guess you kind of need the Iron Bundle. What was I saying? I got the Crisis Punch. I was saying something was on my mind and I completely forgot. Oh yeah, the Iron Bundle. I guess you have to play for the Flutter Mane, but I guess it's also like your pseudo escape rope. It's also like a pseudo escape rope where, you know, you can go find it. Or I guess it does the same thing. It's not exactly escape rope because you have to go search it out. It's a Pokemon. It doesn't switch your side, but it allows you to like force your opponents to bring up a bench Pokemon, which I guess is still good. So the Iron Bundle seems like it's probably going to be a staple in Lost Boxes. It's in this build as well. Gets around the Flutter Mane or potentially Klefki, I guess, if that's something you run into. And then also, I mean, you can attack with it. Or not attack with it, but it doesn't switch your side. It's all right. Seems okay. You could attack with it, I guess. I don't know what matchup. I guess you could attack with it against Charizard. I play Flutter Mane over Klefki because you can attack with it. And you can leave it in your active while you're attacking with it. Or Future Hands. This one does have a vacuum, actually. This one actually has a vacuum. I guess you have Arvid so you can find it. Is that just how you win the mirror match? You just vacuum away the heavy baton? Yeah, I feel like this deck, dude, it could be good. I think actually, like, specifically maybe for EUIC, this deck could have a really good showing. But I honestly think, now I'd have to play with the deck. The deck might not be as fragile as I think it is, but it seems like it is super fragile. Where it's just like if your opponent goes knock out your Iron Hands and vacuums away your heavy baton, it feels like you just lose. But maybe the deck is not as fragile as I think it is. It could be, though. It seems super fragile, though. The deck seems insanely fragile. Lugia, just literally pretty much the exact same 60 from Champions League. They got the 4th Minccino in there, which I do like. I do like the 4th Minccino in there. Another Charizard Arceus. Once again, I don't think Charizard Arceus is the move. If you just like put the resources that you're putting into getting out the Arceus, you just have turn to Candy Charizard, and then you don't have like a weaker 2-price Pokemon in play. Especially one that can be like taken advantage of before you're able to evolve it to the V-Star. What does the Baby Miraidon do? It does 40 damage and accelerates 2 energy from your deck to your bench Pokemon. This is what? Xatu Espathra. Yeah, I don't think this deck is probably very good either. They got the cape in here for the extra HP. They got a Crisis Punch. Actually, that's kind of cool on there, I guess. That's kind of cool on the Espathra. And then Morty's Confidence. You must discard a card from your hand to use this card. Draw a card for each of your opponent's benched Pokemon. I've seen this pop up a couple times now in lists. It is I don't know, is it a better Zinnia's Resolve? I don't know if it's a better Zinnia's Resolve. It might just be basically Zinnia's Resolve. What did Zinnia's Resolve do, though? It discarded 2 cards, and did you draw for each of your opponent's Pokemon? Or did you draw for each of your opponent's bench Pokemon? I forget what Zinnia's did. Did it draw for the active Pokemon? Zinnia's Resolve was pretty bad. Each in play. Discard 2 and draw for each Pokemon. Okay, so it did draw for the active as well. I don't think Morty is like a huge upgrade to Zinnia's Resolve. If anything, is Morty's worse? Morty's might be worse. Zinnia's was pretty bad, so I'm not sure. Neither are great. Neither are great. Chi and Pow decks. Bro, I actually am surprised. Well, I want to say we didn't see... No, I think we saw one Chi and Pow deck at the Champions League. Yeah. I'm surprised. I think this deck is going to be super good, but I could be wrong, I guess. I think Chi and Pao is going to be ridiculously powerful. I guess we'll have to wait and see for sure. Because that's the way it felt at the beginning of Paradox Rift format. It felt like it was going to be an insanely powerful deck. But now people don't have like Avery to like put in their Gardevoir decks to like give it a tough time or anything like that. So that'd be like one less thing. No Averys to mess with the Chi and Pao deck. I agree, man. This deck is insane. And no path. Yeah, and no path. T-Pao seems like the Giga Nuts next 4 months. I don't know why it's not the BDIF. I mean, it seems like it should be, right? There's no path. Like, yeah, just like JW said, no path. I mean, the cards like Avery rotated, so this card deck doesn't have to worry about that anymore. Lost Box decks are worse. I mean, Chi and Pao Prime Catcher is absurd. Like this Chi and Pao, this is probably this card is the best. It like gives the biggest buff to Chi and Pao. This card gives the biggest buff to Chi and Pao for sure, out of like any other deck. Like this card is insane in the deck because it allows you to run Canceling Clone so easily with it as well. Like, yeah, Chi and Pao seems absurd, but it had pretty meh success at Champions League. I think we saw one on stream, none in top 16, and it seems like most decks were kind of prioritized as for like to hate on Charizard. Like most decks were like hating on Charizard, so maybe the Charizard matchup isn't as good as I think it is. I guess that could be it. Maybe that's why that one Charizard list plays 3 counter catcher, because they just chase the Chi and Paos every game. Yeah, it doesn't have that many City League results either. Take a look at this list real fast. Not too much different. Canceling Cologne. This one has Manaphy in it, but yeah, still the same stuff. Counter catcher, Prime Catcher. They both play the Kyogre with the Dynamic Wave to do 180, which is good to get good in the mirror match. Snipe the Baxcaliburs or the B-Barrels. And then I guess it's also good against Lugia as well to snipe the Archeops. Opening it sucks. Like if you start with this thing, that's awful though. So starting this thing is really, really bad. I could see this being worth including. I'm not 100% sure on this thing yet, to be honest. It seems okay. It also probably depends on how popular stuff like Squawkabilly and Luminion are as well, because this is also good at KOing those Pokemon as well. The 180 snipe KO Squawkabilly and Luminion. So if those are both popular, then it gets better. But yeah. See, where were we? Guard Bib. This is a 3/3 Bib line. We saw this actually might be the list that got. This actually may be the list that just got top 4 at Champions League. To be honest, it's close to it. Is it? It's not quite it. There's a Defiance band in this build. There was not a Defiance band in the other build, and also but this is really, really close to the build that got top 4. Yeah. You can scroll down. Oh, I could see it here. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, it did not get top 4. What makes Raging Ball bad if Chi and Pao is good? Chi and Pao does a lot more things than one-hit KO your opponent's active Pokemon. If top players pick up C-Pao, goes crazy. C-Pao with average players as pilot is aight. I mean, it's going to be the way it is for like every single deck anyways, but top players want to play decks that they think is going to allow them to win tournaments. So top players wouldn't not be picking up Chi and Pao. Well, that's not true. Some top players just don't like to play the most complicated deck. Actually, a lot of them do, to be honest. So that is one of the reasons that we see stuff like Chi and Pao not see as much success, is because top players generally actually do seem to stray away from decks like Chi and Pao. Not super heavily, but like to an extent, for sure. If there's stuff like Lostina and Gardevoir in the format, which are also really good decks, people definitely like the best players in the game definitely lean towards decks more like Gardevoir and Lostina. But if Chi and Pao is like BDI, well, actually that's not true, because we've seen it in the past as well, as when like if the decks are like too, I think one big reason to not play certain decks, and actually I do agree with this a little bit, if a deck like pre-rotation Lugia is by far the most popular deck, and I personally don't feel like there's that big of a separation in the mirror match, then I wouldn't want to play a deck like that. So if Chi and Pao is like by far the most popular deck, it doesn't really matter how good it is. I wouldn't want to play Chi and Pao, to be honest. But if Chi and Pao is like a really good deck and it's like 10% of the meta, then I'm kind of down. I'd be down to play a deck like that. Like that's why me and my group didn't play pre-rotation Lugia at any event except for Vancouver. We played at one tournament because the mirror matches were just terrible. I think there was like very little play in the mirror match. There was a little bit, but not much. So that's why I want to personally stray away from decks like that for those situations. But then you have decks like Charizard where like there's a lot more skill in the mirror match of like Charizard EX mirror. So I'm down to play Charizard EX mirrors all day. But I'm not as down to play pre-rotation Lugia mirrors. And I probably wouldn't be as down to play Chi and Pao mirrors either if it's popular enough. But it just comes down to the popularity of stuff for sure. How do I feel about Delphox V and Charizard? I mean, I kind of like the idea of it. With so many B-Barrel decks running around. It seems that much better as well if the main way to play Charizard becomes the B-Barrel build, which I don't think will happen. I think the Pidgeot build of Charizard will be the way to play Charizard. Then it's not going to be as good. But if the best way to play Charizard is B-Barrel Charizard, then I think the Delphox has a decent amount of value for sure. But it also kind of comes down to how much Manaphy there is in the format as well, because there's a lot of Manaphy then it's probably just not worth playing. Kind of depends. I mean, if it's that valuable to force your opponent to put a Manaphy in play, then it maybe is all of a sudden worth it to switch it up again. But all right, Dialga, Bibzard with Pogo Bib to beat Mill. I don't think Mill's going to be popular enough where you'll have to tech for it. Hopefully not anyways. I hope it's not popular enough. All right, here is the Matang Dialga deck. What else have they got in here? I was actually thinking, what if you played Matang Zamazenta? Like, what if you just played Matang plus Zamazenta? Do you even need Dialga in here? Like, what if you just played like a one prize metal box? I don't hate that. Yeah, Matang. For anyone who doesn't know, once your turn, you may look at the top 4 cards of your deck, attach any number of basic metal cards you find that your Pokemon anyway you like, then shuffle the remaining cards to the bottom of your deck. So the bottom half of this is actually really key to the card, because if you have like 3 of them in play, you'll like start to filter through your deck, and all the cards that aren't energy go to the bottom, which means the next Matang you use has a higher chance of hitting energy. It's not like that it shuffles back in, compared to how cards in Pokemon are usually worded. So that's interesting that they worded it that way. It makes the card a little bit stronger. But yeah, they have the Dialga in here as the main attacker. They do have the Basculin in here with the Gather the Crew, which then does, because of how much metal energy you play, I guess that does synergize with the Bascule Legion. 1 damage for each basic energy in your discard pile. You're not really one-hit KOing anything with this, I guess, but not anything big anyways, but it could be like a 2-hit KO Pokemon, I guess. I don't know. I don't think Dialga, I don't know. I mean, the Dialga's V-Star power is super powerful, right? Star Chronos is super, super powerful. I don't think this is enough, though. I guess it depends a little bit on what the meta is as well. But yeah, I don't know if this is enough to like... I don't know if Dialga's enough. I feel like this deck doesn't have enough firepower to get through like 2 Charizards. Like, I don't know how you're getting through like 2 Charizards. Unless this thing is one-hit KOing one of the Charizards. Which I guess you could do, to be honest. Also, another thing with the Matang, though, is this deck like lacks draw power. You have no draw power. You have Greninja. You got Mew, but that's not a B-Barrel. That's not like even like a Pidgeot with a quick search, right? Like the draw power in this deck is like definitely lacking quite a bit as well. I was thinking Melmetal EX with Heavy Baton, maybe. The Melmetal EX. Yeah, so I'm not convinced this is a good enough partner to make Matang meta, the Dialga. But I don't know, we maybe just don't have anything right now that'll be good enough to make Matang metal, to be honest. And the biggest thing with the Matang, I think, is the lack of draw power, to be honest. There's just like a lack of draw power, but like you set up your stage 1, no draw power, just energy acceleration. It's something, but I don't know if it's enough. Another Future Hands deck. Bosses, yeah, nothing crazy in this one either. Control. So this is the Pidgeot control builds. Oh yeah, then if anyone was curious why everyone has Chi-Yu in their control decks, it's just because it has the Singe attack. Discard the top 2 cards of your opponent's deck for a fire. The Crab did rotate, and it does feel like with the lack of... Well, at least in the best of 1 format, it feels like you need to play... For Japan anyways, it feels like they need to play some aggressive mill card as like a win condition. Nah, I use Flame Surge actually. Yeah, same actually. Sometimes I get in this with the Flame Surge. But yeah, Control seems to be very alive and well. Both builds of Control seem to be alive and well. I mean, they got Eerie, and then I also got... I mean, I guess the Cape is something. The Cape I don't think matters too much for the deck. Maybe there's some matchups where it's like pretty pivotal. This one apparently has an Arc Phone. Look at the top card of your deck. You may switch that card with one of your face-down prize cards. Wait. But wait, that's like so RNG to try and get the prize card you're looking for. That just can't be worth it, right? Is that there's no way. Daisy's Help. Draw 2, look at your face down prize cards. Wait, that's a combo. Oh shoot, never mind, my bad. I didn't realize what Daisy's Help did. The Daisy's Help Arc Phone combo to get your Mickey Peonia. Oh, I didn't even realize that was a thing. Okay, that's pretty interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel like also with this build, the Pidgeot build has so much more one-ofs. Like the quad Snorlax build. This one has 3 Snorlax, so it's almost there. The non-Pidgeot build of Snorlax, Control, Stall, whatever you want to call it. I feel like it was a little bit, definitely less reliant on Peonia. But it feels like this build is really reliant on Peonia. So they got a pseudo Peonia combo thing going on here. The Daisy's Help into the Arc Phone. What if your top deck is good? That just sucks, right? Look at the top card of your deck. You may switch it with one of your face. Like, what if you need something off your prize cards and then your top card is also really good? You have no way to set up your top card, right? Well, at least you get the card you need out of the prize cards, but because like there's still so many one-ups in this list. Like you got the one Erica's Invitation. I guess you only will have one Super Rod. This build doesn't even play the Mantine. Like this deck doesn't even play the Mantine, so you're 100% reliant on Erica's Invitation. Honestly, I think that's just the way to play against control players, is to assume they don't have the Mantine until they show you the Mantine, to be honest. Like if I go up against a control player at EYC, I'm just Ultra Balling away all my basic Pokemon out of my hand and be like, all right, show me you have the Mantine. Also, draw into the Mantine combo to begin with. Like they have to also draw into the Mantine combo to begin with. Like Ultra Ball away 2 Pokemon plus Iono them and then punch seems like a really good play into control now. Yeah, I'm gonna make people show me their Mantine before I play around it, because it seems like most control players do not have the Mantine, or like some do, some don't. Like it's 50-50. Mantine is pretty slow and breaks the block. Yeah, I mean, it's not great. Yeah, I don't think Mantine is great. Or Future. This one does have the pod in it, but the pod seems to be like old news. It's like old technology. Upgrade to the... Actually, there's a couple Guardies here. Pod should be partnered with Raichu V IMO. Raichu V. I could see it. Does Mantine's attack Horn and Gust? No, it just puts it on the bench. So you have to like Mantine and then wait a turn to Gust up what you Mantined. Guardy could honestly still be a pretty good comeback deck. We'll see. I mean, you still have Screamtail, right? So you can still go like, well, I guess like the thing is though, like if they have just Manaphy down, bro, honestly, Guardy seems like it sucks. I already, like, now that I'm thinking through it more, Guardy seems kind of bad. I guess we'll see. Like, if your opponent just benches Manaphy, and a lot of decks still play Manaphy, like, how do you do anything? Like, how does Guardy do anything anymore? Like, you have to attack with the Drifloon in the active. I guess Drifloon, what does Drifloon do again? Is it 30 for each damage counter on it? So you're doing 180, and then you get the Bravery Charmed involved. We're doing what? 300. So we don't KO with Charizard yet. So we have to go Luxurious Cape or Hero's Cape to want to KO with Charizard. I guess you could 2-hit KO. But the thing is, if you're 2-hit KOing Charizard, so they're just boss KOing your Guardy EX, right? If you just punch a Zard and you don't kill it, they're just going, okay, boss KO your Guardy. And you're just like, well, that's 2 prize cards. I've given up now. I guess I lose. Maybe it has to be like Drifloon, KO, the Quick Search Pidgeot, and then, it just seems tough for Guardy, to be honest. Wait, isn't there a... Should there be a Mimikyu? Should there be Mimikyu EX in this deck now as like an easier way to just close out games? Is there a reason not to play that? Also, this deck lost Level Ball too. It's gonna make things tough as well. No Level Ball. Zard can also vacuum the tool on Drifloon. Yeah, Zard can also draft. Yeah, they can also vacuum the tool and just get a free prize card. I have Mimikyu EX in my Guardy list. It seems pretty good, right? Doesn't Mimikyu EX just want to KO anything if you have enough Psychics in the discard pile? Like, it's literally just Zacian, right? Or is it any different from that? Each Champions Festival for the Drifloon? Wait, what is... No, Drifloon is based on the damage counters on it, right? Oh, but it would allow... No, this is based on the damage counters on it. Would it allow you to get 1 more energy, though, on it? I guess it would, right? Yeah, I guess you could Champions Festival. True. You could Champions Festival, heal 10. Wait, so you get up to what? This gets you to 120. Yeah, that would work, honestly. Champions Festival would work. You could Champions Festival. I guess Moonlit Hill also works, though, right? Because you just need to heal the odd. Moonlit Hill would also work. That's actually interesting. Station is 60 plus. Mimikyu is 30 times, which means you have a lot more. Yeah, I guess, yeah, Moonlit Hill or Champions Festival would work. I would assume Champions Festival is probably better because you need less energy in your discard pile to make it work. You also don't need an energy out of hand to make it work. I'm going to assume that that would be better. But maybe that is enough, to be honest. If you can get a Drifloon to 1 KO a Charizard with a Bravery Charm, sure, you could get vacuumed in response, but that might be enough. Honestly, that might be enough. I kind of like the, yeah, maybe like double Champions Festival is the way in Guardy now. So you can get your Drifloons to actually KO stuff. I could see it, to be honest. I could see it. Mimikyu counts opponent, so it's effective 60 plus against Zard. Oh, Mimikyu is for you and your opponent. Okay, so Mimikyu is still pretty good then, it seems like. Like, if it feels like if you weren't running Cape Screamtail in last format and you were still playing Zacian, then you should be, well, I guess you have more Pokemon that can hold the Cape, but I feel like getting the Screamtail was never a problem. It was like finding the Cape. I guess you have more tools now as well. Double Champions Festival, the Gearheart Prophecy. Yeah, honestly, I think I would play Double Champions Festival. I kind of like the idea of the Calamitous Wasteland to like trap something in the active at the end of the game and then Screamtail around it, but yeah, Double Champions Festival plus Bravery Charm on Drifloon to 1 KO Charizards seems like too good to not do. Okay, hold up. Why is there no Radiant Greninja in this list? There's no reason to not play Radiant Greninja, right? Or am I missing something? And you can Arven for it? Wait, Arven for what? Like the whole combo? Yeah, why is there... Am I missing something here? Yeah, Greninja's OP. The bench space / finding it. Oh, true. I guess you don't have a way to find it. Hard to find and not that many Pokemon, I guess. Not that many energy. How many energy in the list now? Oh, there's only 8 energy in the list now. I could see it, I guess. What does your bench look like now? You could theoretically have Guardy EX, Triple Curlia, Guardy EX, Triple Curlia, Greninja, Attacker, right? You could theoretically have that as your bench. I think that would still be good, right? It would still be good to play Greninja. Like turn 1. Well, I guess you just don't have that many ways to find it, right? They play 3 Ultra Ball, 1 Nest Ball. I could see it, I guess. Arven for Pump plus Charms. Wait, Pump. What is Pump? Oh, Damage Pump? Oh, wait. Damage Pump is... I didn't even realize there was a Damage Pump here. So Damage Pump is Champions Festival. Okay. The question is, should you not just play Champions Festival? I guess. I didn't realize the Damage Pump was here. There's a Damage Pump here, though, which does the same thing. It allows you to KO Charizard. Okay, I guess I could see that then, actually. Maybe that is the play, just to play the Damage Pump. Damage Pump is definitely interesting. The thing is, you don't even really need to run stadiums in this deck. Like, you could maybe play Artisans if you needed to. But they have, like, the one of League Headquarters. So these are, like, matchup-specific tech cards, where it's, like, they want to be able to go, like, Iono plus League Headquarters, knockout. And they want to be able to go Iono, Counter Catcher, trap something with Calamitous Wasteland, Screamtail around it. So, yeah. I mean, you don't need... The thing is, with Guardian now, you don't need to play stadiums, like, at all. Yeah, you don't need stadiums at all. So, the stadiums are just, like, are they good for the certain situations? But I guess Damage Pump is equal to Champions Festival, and you can Arven for Damage Pump. So maybe the Damage Pump is just better, to be honest. I guess the only thing with the Champions Festival is... Well, no, it's not even true, to be honest. I was gonna say you can combo Champions Festival with Iono, but you can do the same thing with Damage Pump. It's just like when you find the cards, I guess. Yeah, it's just like when you find the cards. Only 1 candy. Yeah, that's interesting as well. I would figure maybe you'd want to be a more aggressive deck that plays for like turn 2 Guardy now. So this deck is basically like just not attacking until turn 3. This deck is like, I'm not attacking until turn 3. Which I don't know how I feel about that. Not attacking until turn 3. Because you think with a slower deck with like less comeback potential, you'd want to be faster and play like 2 or 3 candy. But I guess you like your candies have way less potential now as well. But you also play Arvin. Oh, but maybe because you Arvin, you only need 1 candy, right? I guess that's fair. You could just play 1 candy because you have Arvin, or you have this guy too, the Crypto. I guess that makes sense. Maybe that's what. Maybe you only need 1 candy because you have so much access to it. I guess that's fair. I guess the question would just become like, is it worth the 10% of the games you prize it? Is it worth not having more outs to the candy for those percentage of games? And I guess maybe it wouldn't be. Because also the games you go first, you probably don't need to attack turn 2 as long as your opponent doesn't attack turn 1. You don't need to attack turn 2. I feel like Guardy still has a ton of potential, to be honest. It has potential for sure. I mean, the card is so powerful. This combo is so powerful. We saw that literally with the dude stream. Like when I went on the 16-game win streak with Espathra Gardevoir. Team Evo lets you swing earlier. Oh, that is true. If you go second, you can go turn 1 TM Evo into then turn 2 Guardy. That's true. TM Evo does fix that, actually. You're right, yeah. They run Team Evo, so do they choose to go second, or is it better to just go first and try to go as wide as possible? Probably is matchup dependent. Like any deck that can attack turn 1, you probably choose second against, and then any deck that can't, you probably choose first. But I don't know for sure, to be honest. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Guardy itself is Guardy plus Curly is a pretty powerful combo. You just need some decent attackers to go with it. Honestly, maybe Espathra is just better than all the Tool Driftloon Screamtail shenanigans. Here's a Lost Tina. This one has Artisan, doesn't have the Temple of Sinnoh, but nothing crazy. No Pokegears. Maybe that is crazy. I don't know. Is that crazy at this point? Another control deck. We see the Mantine, Lure Module. Do they have the no Arc Phone? No Arc Phone. Interesting. Still only one Team Yell's Cheer and Silene, so they're hoping they just like don't need them or don't prize them. I guess one thing I wouldn't have been surprised to see is like people go up to like two of counts of those cards of like the Silene and the Team Yell's Cheer because there's no Peonia in the deck anymore. But I guess just don't prize them and pray. Seems fine. Another control, same stuff though, nothing crazy. Actually, what was they had Luminous Energy in here. What can they do with a Luminous? This is just better than running a second basic fire because you could, I guess, attack. So if it's second fire, I guess it is better than a second fire, right? But you can't go. I guess it is better than second fire, right? I'm trying to think of a reason why this wouldn't be better than second fire, but it seems better. Zard Bib. Once again, that 3-2 Bib line. Seeing a lot of that. Is that better than another Nest Ball? I'm not sure. But they really like chaining out the B-Barrels. Because one of the best strategies against Charizard Bib is KO the B-Barrels, so. Doesn't work against Charizard Pidgeot, though, because it's harder to KO a Pidgeot. It seems like a pretty standard list. They have the Jet Energy in here, and a Turo. They also have the Gouging Fire, which honestly is like not a terrible card in the deck in general. I guess it's maybe one of the reasons they play the Jet Energy is to combo the Jet with the Gouging Fire, possibly. I don't think it's a terrible card in general. And then also, it is like your answer to Vulpix. If Vulpix is like a thing that you want to be able to beat, you just play Gouging Fire, I think. I think it's your best answer to Vulpix. I would have to actually test the Vulpix matchup more to see if it's actually that relevant. Or if you can beat it without it. But if you can't beat Vulpix without Gouging Fire, then you can just always play the Gouging Fire and then you just auto-win Vulpix. But with Choice Belt, you can also like KO Tinas and Arceuses early as well. So like it also helps in the Arc-Tina matchup. I don't know about any other matchups besides that, to be honest. Lost Boxes, Hands, Roy and Moon. Oh, this one has Radiant Charizard over Greninja. Still 4 gate, but yeah, you don't have the Moonlight Shuriken. You lose that draw power as well. I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure how I feel about that one. Palkia Chien-Pao. Nah, don't play Palkia. No shot. This one actually plays the Future Booster Capsule. Appreciate the raid there, Ursaday. Hope you had a good stream. This one actually has the Future Capsule, which I guess could be good. It would allow you to KO. It would allow you to KO Pidgeot with Iron Hands. So you could go like, you know, Codebreaker Solution, Cryptomaniac. You could go Cryptomaniac, Iron Hands combo, knock out Pidgeot for 3. Future Booster might be the play until people find out that the Ancient Box sucks. I guess it also allows you to get the KO on those Pokemon as well. And you do actually have a way to find it with this as well. Yeah, the Cryptomaniac or Codebreaker solution. Whatever this card is called, do we know the official name for this card yet? Whatever this card is called, this actually allows you to find the tool card as well. There's the Arc Vulpix. Is the exact same list? No. Different list than actually what won or got second at Champions League, but pretty much exact. I don't think this deck is like a good deck. This isn't like a good deck. This is like a meta call deck, and like obviously it worked out for the Champions League. That seems like a pretty good time to play it, but this is definitely not like this is not a good deck for sure. One of those decks that will like, if the meta's just right, it works, but it's not like a consistently good deck. I don't even know what you'd call it, to be honest. I mean, it's not a bad deck. Yeah, it's not a good deck. Dude, I literally, does this not look like Tapu Koko? Am I trolling, or does this look like Tapu Koko? It's an Armor Rouge. But to me, I mean, when I looked at this, I looked at it on the podcast with Chip, this looked like a Tapu Koko. Does this not look like a Tapu Koko at all? It kind of looks like a Tapu Koko, right? But yeah, Arceus Armor Rouge. I don't know what to, I have no real opinion on this one. I have no idea what to think about this. It kind of looks like a Koko. That's what I'm saying. It kind of looks like Koko. Yeah, I honestly have no opinion on this. I don't know what to think about this. I mean, they got the Delphox V in here for some snipe potential. The Arceus deck, Arc Bib, of course. You got the Armor Rouge line in here as well. The Armor Rouge to move the Fire Energy around to combo with the Delphox. There's Radiant Charizard in here. Hopefully Makani's taking notes. Radiant Charizard with Arceus. Armor Rouge EX. Yeah, I have no clue. I have no clue about this one, to be honest. I got no clue. Another future hands. Same stuff. Another Guardy list. Is there anything different in this one? So this one has a town store. And this one does not play any of the cheesy stadiums. Also has an Eerie. Has the damage pump. So damage pump seems to be the go-to way to set up damage, to be honest. Damage pump seems to, like, instead of the Champions Festival, which I guess just kind of makes sense, to be honest. Still just the one rare candy, but you can find it if you need to. The more I look at the Guardy list, to be honest, I'm definitely excited to try out Guardy, to be honest. I definitely am excited to try it out. See if it like actually is how it compares to current format Guardy. It'll definitely be worse. There's no way it's as good. There's no way it's as good. Guard is done running Radiant. Yeah, maybe. This one also does not have Radiant Greninja, but this one has like double Nest Ball. Yeah, you don't play as many energy, right? You only have 8 Psychics. But that's still a decent amount. See, the thing is though, it's like you don't mind if like almost all your energy goes to the discard pile, right? That's the thing. Like, it only runs 8 Psychic, but you're also fine with all 8 Psychic being in the discard pile most of the time. Not all the time, but most of the time. As long as you have like a Super Rod left to make sure you can like retreat your Manaphy or Jirachi or whatever. So it's interesting to still not see the Radiant Greninja in the deck, to be honest. I mean, you can't Buddy Poffin for it, obviously, but you still have Nest Balls and Ultra Balls. Could just draw into it. So it feels weird to still not have the Radiant Greninja in here. Because you could just, you know, just use him as draw power. You just, like, get rid of him. I'm not sure. Not sure about the no Radiant Greninja, to be honest. But both lists we've seen so far do not have the Radiant Greninja. They're pretty similar, though, besides that. Pretty similar besides that. More hands. More hands. Got the Iron Bundle. Guard Pidgey. Another Lost Tina. Nothing really different, though. Another Lost Box. Moons in hands. Nothing crazy. Here's a Miraidon deck. Miraidon, Regieleki. Is this the way to play Miraidon now? You definitely need to play EXP shares. I'm actually surprised to only see 2 in here, to be honest. I think you'd want to play like 3 or 4 EXP shares without Flaffy now. Miraidon Lecky. Is this just like basically the... What is the... what is the... What did I want to say? What does the League Battle deck look like? How far off of League Battle deck is this? Maybe one a Baton? Yeah, there probably should be a Baton in here, right? Like, you have the Arvins and the town stores. You have the town store and the Arvins. Like, you may as well play 1 Baton, right? To put on your hands, and then you conserve all that energy. That's kind of crazy, actually. Wait, is that enough to keep Miraidon a good deck? Is like, you attack early with hands with a Baton. I actually don't. That doesn't seem terrible. League Battle deck has Bib instead of Mew. So pretty close. It's pretty close then. No Raichu is kind of crazy. Is this literally just a league? Is this literally just the League Battle deck? It's so close. There's not even a Raichu in here. And I think you'd play. Is there a Raichu in the League Battle deck though? I guess is the question. This honestly might be some kind of pre-constructed. This honestly might be a pre-constructed Rhydon deck over there or something. If not, it looks close. I mean, it looks close. They got the dub though. That's all that matters. They got the dub. Lugia, just the what's it called, Lugia? Are you doing the Game Grid tourney today? No. Another control deck. This one has 2 Silene. This one actually is like playing around the fact that there's less Peonia, or that there's no Peonia. I don't know if that's correct or not, but Jian Pao seems like the standard, nothing crazy. This one has an Iono. I don't think I've seen an Iono in a Jian Pao deck yet. I honestly don't know if it's even worth playing it either, to be honest, because like your deck is so aggressive now. Like, yeah, I honestly don't even know if you should be playing Iono. If anything, you should maybe just be playing more Code Breakers. Like the deck can play so aggressively now. I don't know if you ever need to like disrupt your opponent. I feel like your opponent is maybe always trying to disrupt you. Our Bib, 3/3 Bib, the whole squad, 3 Super Rod. All right, chill out. Jeez, bro, they want to keep the Bibs coming, bro. 3/3 Bib, 3 Super Rod, only 3 candy, but no TM Evo is weird. Yeah, only 3 candy and no TM Evo. It feels a little weird. But actually, I'm gonna look at the list that got. No, the list that got top 4 did have TM Evo with 2 Charmeleon. It only had 3 candy though, but 3 Rod. I feel like we need like a 4th rare candy before the 3rd Rod, or like another Charmeleon, or like an ETM Evo. Like our Zards aren't gonna die enough for us to need 3 Super Rod. Yeah, our Charizards aren't gonna get KO'd enough to actually need that 3rd Super Rod. All right, Pidgeysard seems to become the standard. Almost everyone has the Flutter Mane in here, but the Flutter Mane just doesn't seem that like it doesn't seem there's enough decks that warrant playing the Flutter Mane over. I could be wrong, but like what is there? Jian Pao, maybe that's enough. Jian Pao plus Lawson and stuff. Just push it up against those decks. Maybe that is enough, to be honest. And the last one on this one is a Lawson deck that actually has the Cobalion in here. I guess you can go. Oh, okay. So the Charizard deck can be on 2 prize. So the prize trade for this deck is. Oh wait, is this Genius? So the prize trade for this deck is Iron Hands for 2. Your opponent goes Charizard, KO, Iron Hands, and then you go Frenzied Gouging, Knockout, and then they go Charizard, knockout your Roaring Moon, and then you go Mew EX with Cobalion, copy, whatever Charizard's attack is called. I don't remember what it's called. Knockout. Also, Raikou plus Prime Catcher to KO Pidgeot. It's like a really good way to draw 2 prize cards as well in that matchup. So you can also do that as well. Yeah, they got the Mew Cobalion combo to KO the Charizard on 2. Why would they not just Heat Tackle your Moon? That's a good question. I don't have an answer for that, to be honest. I don't have an answer for why they wouldn't just do that. I'm assuming they probably would. Do we have a play around that? I guess we don't have a play around that. Yeah, we don't have a... I guess, yeah, they could just do that. All right, so we go Iron Hands for 2, Raikou for 2, and then we go Mew Cobalion. There you go. Cobalion lets you KO Baby Moon with Cram. Oh, true. Yeah, you can also KO against the... What's it called matchup? The Lost... What is it called? Lost... Or not Lost Box, Ancient Box deck. Yeah, against the Ancient Box deck. Yo, so we'll just try responding to your whisper about winning Dude deck, but on my end it doesn't go through. Do you see it different? Let me check real fast. Yeah, Ancient Box. It also allows you to go Iron Hands KO the Roaring Moon as well, right? You can go Iron Hands plus Cobalion KO the Ancient Box. I do not see any different on my end, Scribble Pop. If you want to just message me on Discord, that works as well. Yeah. Hands, then Moon, then Raikou Countercatcher works too. That also does work, yeah. Yeah, actually, honestly, there's like some value in the Cobalion for sure. In the Ancient Box matchup, Charizard matchup. I don't know, maybe there's some way to take advantage of this against Roaring Moon. You can arm press a Zard and then amp them with the same hands early on. Oh, you could do that as well, yeah. If they go like turn 2 Zard knockout and you haven't drawn a prize card yet, or if the Zard player goes, oh no, wait, they have like maximum belt now, but they don't all have maximum belt. If the Zard player goes, if you go cram knockout and they go Zard knockout, and then you punch them with your hands with arm press with the Cobalion, and then next turn go amp you very much for 3, that's pretty good. Yeah, Cobalion's broken actually. Genius tech, insanely genius tech. Absolutely broken for sure. I don't know if it's that good, but I do like the idea of it. The Cobalion's kind of cool actually.